Pat yourself on the back because you are right here, right now, for a reason. Welcome to the On Purpose podcast, where together we will empower ourselves and others to live lives with more passion and purpose.
Buenos dias, Señor Jerrod.
Oh, good morning, my friend. How are you?
I'm feeling good today, man. Had some hard jiu-jitsu last night, caught a couple arm triangles on some people, and business stuff is moving forward. It's going good, man. How are you doing?
Good, man. It's mixed emotions. Today's the last day I'll be recording from this house we've had for 20 years and raised our kids in, and we're off to new adventures. So it's good, man.
20-year chapter.
Yeah. It's funny how life goes, but yeah, I'm blessed to have lived here this long and learned so much and met so many awesome people, and now it's time to go out and apply those lessons to new aspects of life.
I love it, man. It might be a good time to go back and listen to our old episode about change, man. We got some good nuggets in there.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. Change is good for us. And speaking of change, before we get into this episode, I want to remind our community to get over to Patreon and start helping us push our purposeful message even further. We can do that by your support. $2 memberships is where they start, all the way up to other levels where you get personal coaching calls. Really contribute. And so many of you ask, how can I help support? How can I help support? Well, that's one way. There's no ads. We don't sell ads. We're not looking for ads. But we are trying to make sure that our message gets out to the world. You can help us do that by supporting us on Patreon. So get over there and show you guys some love, damn it. You're listening to us every week, so put some money into the game.
Yeah, come on and become a Patreon Don with your boys.
Patreon Don, that's a good one.
You like that?
Yeah, that's a good one. See, maybe we need to make it like a gambling thing or something, right? Maybe if they thought they were gambling, man, fucking gamble. Bet your money on your boys. That's what we're going to say. Bet your money on your boys.
There you go. Bet on the On Purpose boys.
There you go. Yeah. So, no, man, life is good. I'm blessed. So appreciative of everything, and I'm appreciative of you and what I've learned from you over these years. And I'm just excited for where everything goes from here.
Yeah, likewise, brother. I'm excited for your next chapter. Grateful for you as well. And I mean, shoot, you're doing something that a lot of people dream of doing but never do. Right? I just want to hit the road one day. I just want to travel, and like, you're doing it, man. So,
dude,
kudos to you.
We just put our budget together for starting September 1st. And bro, we sold our houses, we sold our gym. We're like, it's as free as you could possibly get, I believe. I don't know how you could be more free because we have nothing tying us down anywhere.
Dang. Freedom.
I know, but sometimes that brings comfort too, right? Because even if after a bad day, you just come back to your house, close the door, and you're good.
Yeah.
But I'm so excited. Like, we're going to go see my oldest daughter in Idaho, and she's like, how long are you staying for? We're like, so we don't want to be there no more. We'll just drive off and go somewhere else. And then we'll go see Taya down in Arizona. And it's going to be a good life, man. I'm excited. And Andrea and I are creating a new channel, alternateroads.com, that will be chronicling like all our travel stuff. Adventures.
Definitely an alternate road.
Adventures and misadventures. Because people got to see the mistakes, you know? But it's
100%.
good. And then in November, I'll be down there with your ass, camping right by you.
Yeah. Come on
It'll
over
be
to
good.
Florida, guys. The On Purpose Men's Retreat. Early bird pricing is still available until Labor Day, I believe. So get on over there.
Yeah. We got some emails this morning for it, so that's good stuff.
Yeah. All right, so what we got today, Jerrod?
Let's talk about being happy, man. Right? It's like you had a great post the other day about just not knowing how to feel about all the heaviness in the world. Like, am I supposed to be sad for this or sad for that? And am I allowed to be sad for this and understanding for here? Or does that mean I'm opposite of this? Like, what the hell is going on? So I thought we'd just talk about being happy and how to do that.
So we got episode 129, the 5 keys to find happiness
5 keys.
in your life.
All right. I love it. 5 keys. What do you think? Key number 1. Where are you going to go with that one?
You froze up there for a second.
Yeah, you were froze too. Where are you going to go with step number 1 or key number 1, Ollie? Where are we going to go with this?
Key number 1 is to make it your choice. That's the key, right? So many times in life, we become unhappy because somebody else decided that they believe we should be unhappy, right? Whether it's the news, whether it's mom, whether it's dad, whether it's manager at work, whether it's coworker, and we give away our happiness because something external or something that someone else did, some outside event, when in reality, we always have that choice, right? We can choose to not react. We can choose to remain happy, to remain internal with our emotions and not let some sort of outside event. So I think that that's the first key, is to realize that it is our choice. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's a choice, and it's your choice, right? Like, bad shit's going to happen. Trains are going to cross the road. Traffic's going to be backed up. Whatever the case may be, you choose your response. And I don't think you should ever give your power of emotion away to anybody else. So if you want to be fucking happy, choose to be happy. Like, even in the worst of things, there's going to be a silver lining. So choose it. Choose to be happy. And that's why I think when you get up in the morning, like we've talked about this in other episodes, gratitude, meditation, yoga, working out, all that stuff, those are all things that lead you to feeling happy. So choose to be happy. Like,
right.
Instead of just getting up, choosing to bitch about everything and choosing to fucking make yourself miserable and make the people around you miserable.
Yeah. And sometimes that choice involves just letting some things go, right? You got to choose to let some things go that frustrate you, that make you angry. And making that choice is a part of choosing happiness. Because some days you can't help it. Some days you're going to wake up, stub your toe right out of bed, and you're not going to feel like making the choice to be happy. There's a lot of times where I don't feel like making the choice to practice gratitude. I don't feel like choosing to put a smile on. I don't feel like asking someone what the best part of their day was. But last night I didn't feel like going to jujitsu, but I knew I was going to feel happy afterwards. And sure enough, afterwards, it was a vibe. I was just like, I feel so good.
You know why?
I felt so happy. Why is that?
Because that skips us down to one of the other ones on the list. It fucking takes work to be happy. You can't just sit around and think happiness is going to find you all the time. Right? So like your example right there, like you didn't really want to go to jiu-jitsu, but you know what that feeling afterwards is. So you went to it. Right? Instead of being like, well, I'll be happier if I skip it tonight and sit on the couch. Yeah, you may have a fleeting moment of like, oh, this is nice. And then about 10 minutes into your show or whatever the hell you chose to do that you know doesn't lead to happiness, you're going to have regret. And regret and happiness never sit at the same table. They're never in the same room. Right? You can't have them over for dinner. It takes work. So you got to do the things that you know make you happy. So that's one of the things when you're choosing happiness, what is it that makes you happy? It's jiu-jitsu, it's working out, it's reading, it's writing letters, it's volunteering at the home, whatever the hell it is, then do it. And that takes work, right? Because you got to show up to do what you know is going to make you happy. And that's where I think we struggle. Most people know what makes them happy. The reason they're not as happy as they could be is they don't put in the work to maintain happiness. Right? Like the best example I think about is why does pizza on a Saturday night taste so damn good? Because we didn't eat it Monday through Friday. If you eat that shit every day, yeah, it tastes good in a minute, but what happens afterwards? You're like, oh, dang, now that just killed my workout. Now I'm not even going to work out because I just ate pizza. I feel so heavy. I'm just going to stay home. Right, and then you go down this slippery slope so far from happiness because you didn't put in the work necessary to be happy.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. The work is important. So having the choice, making that choice and then doing that work. And there's a lot of things too, small little things that we can be aware of and present of on the day-to-day basis that we know that are scientifically proven to increase that feeling of happiness, even small percentage, right? You add these things up and your percentage of happiness is going to go on. Simple things like smiling, right? There's neurotransmission signals in your brain that if you smile, if you put a smile on and hold that smile, you don't have a choice, man. You're going to start to feel happier if you continue to smile. If you laugh, like Courtney was making fun of me the other day because I was in such a bad mood. And she's like, man, she calls me Papa a lot because we say Mama and Papa to Chloe. She's like, man, Papa grumpy today. I was like, yeah, Papa's grumpy. And she's like, do your smile thing, do your laugh thing. And I was like, you're right. And I just started like making myself laugh, making myself smile. And then we were actually just both cracking up in the car. To where if I can force myself to do that, I literally didn't have a choice. I'll start cracking up and I'm like, all right, I feel quite a bit better.
For sure.
It's this, Tony Robbins says motion comes before emotion. If we move our body in a happy way, not only smiling and laughing, but other things like exercise, right? We just talked about that, how that's going to be making you feel better. Deep breaths, bringing it back to the breath, making sure that you're feeling good, giving a compliment, right? Not holding that to yourself. I don't know why we and I'm guilty of it too sometimes, of like giving compliment, asking someone what the best part of their day was, engaging with people, practicing gratitude, eating good foods. All of these things are, yes, choices, but like you said, another one of the keys is to actually do the work, not only make the choice, but do the work. So we got those two keys. What's another key you got for us, Jerrod?
I think I'm going to stay on work real quick. I think that's where people struggle, and that's where the motivational, inspirational business is multi-million dollars or $1 billion, because what they tell you is how to do it, but they can't do it for you, right? They Tony Robbins, no matter how good they are, they can't do the work for you. So you got to commit to doing the work, and that's good habits and doing things repeatedly that's going to put you in that space. And when you get off, well, I'm not as happy. Why aren't you as happy? Well, I haven't been eating good. I haven't been sleeping good. I've been drinking more than I should be drinking. I'm not eating like I should. That's for you, right? So happiness, you choose it. I firmly believe that. And then you got to work at that shit. So the next one I'd say, Ali, man, this is one that drives me crazy. It's nobody else's job to make you happy. Nobody else. You can't put that responsibility on somebody else. Oh, if I just had this boyfriend, or if I just had that girlfriend, I'd be so happy. Because guess what? Nobody's going to make you happy 24 hours a day, 365 days a year.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to do something that pisses you off. They're human. And I think it's really actually selfish to take so little ownership of your own personal happiness and to put it on somebody else's job. Like, oh, okay, Ollie's got his own shit going on today. He's got to work through his own stuff. He's got business, all this. But now I'm also going to say, Ollie, I need you to make me happy too. You got to do all this stuff that makes me happy. Right? Like, how selfish is that for me to throw that on you? Like, I have no ownership of this? No way, dude. Happiness is nobody's job but your own.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and when we make it our own, that is what gives us the power to consistently make that choice and do the work. Because I'm guilty of this too. Sometimes we'll have that idea of like, man, he pissed me off, or she pissed me off. Man, I'm pissed because of what he or she did. But at the end of the day, the reality is I'm choosing to be pissed off.
What's another option?
You cannot let it affect you.
Or go talk to them. How many times you been pissed off by somebody that didn't even know they accidentally pissed you off?
Right.
Or you've been hurt. Dude, that really hurt I'm sorry. That hurt. How did that hurt your feelings? Well, the way you said it, I took this. Oh, yeah, dude, I didn't even mean it that way. right? Like how many times have we just allowed our emotion to deviate without even knowing if that's the intent? Right? So if you want to be happy, if there's something making you not happy, talk about it. Ask somebody.
What if I can't talk to him, Jerrod? What if I'm watching the news and Biden
Quit
pisses
fucking
me off?
watching that shit. Nobody holds your ass hostage to watch the news. Fucking turn that goddamn thing off and go out for a walk. You know, we have, Nikki Ripley's big into horses, a member of our community. I guarantee, like, she goes out and plays with the horses. You can't be fucking mad playing with horses. Like, you're going to be happy. Why do you guys love Chloe so much? She makes you happy. Do shit that makes you happy. I am yet to meet a person that watches the news that's ever happy, other than the people cashing the checks on the back end of the damn news selling you all that hate. But that's a whole nother story.
Big seller.
I hate it. It drives me nuts. Dude, turn that shit off. Who cares? You know?
So if people on the news are pissing me off and all this stuff happening in our country
what do you do?
Pissing me off, you're saying I can just turn off the news?
Shocker, right? Put the remote down, disengage. But there's gonna be things that are aggravating or irritants. So how do you handle those, right? Go work out, go for a walk, take a deep breath and realize, does it matter? If it matters, okay, let me come up with a solution. If it doesn't matter, let the fucking thing go and move on with your day. And I think that's where people struggle is we hold on to a lot of stuff that if I told you, Ali, you got about 12 hours, my man, you're going to die. It's your time. Like, I get to play God. I'm like, Ali, 7:39 tomorrow morning, it's over. You going to fucking run around the world being pissed? You know? You're going to go out and do some happy shit.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of times because we think like our life's infinite, or we just, tomorrow. We'll spend today's being upset, angry, unsatisfied, not following through on the things we know that make us happy. And then eventually we get that calm. We're like, oh, wait. I just need a little more time. I want to be happy. Sorry, young Ali. You had all these days to be happy. Happiness is no longer here for you.
What about this, Jerrod? What about, if maybe someone doesn't piss me off, but I'm feeling just sad and down, and I'm feeling sorry for the people in Afghanistan. I'm feeling sorry for the people in Palestine. I'm feeling sorry for all these people all over the world that are victims, and I'm feeling upset and angry about it and feel like I need to do something, but I don't really know what to do, and I just feel bad about that. Like, what can I do about that?
Get involved. You know what I mean? Like, you want to be, we had a whole victimhood episode, so I'm not even go down that. But yeah, I can't just walk around my days feeling sad for everybody. If I feel sad for it, okay, how do I feel better about this? Well, do something. Have a voice. Whether it's Afghanistan, I think it's always something. Get involved. Do you feel bad about animal shelters that euthanize dogs? Figure out how to start a no-kill animal shelter. Get involved. Be part of the process. And I think that's sometimes where people struggle to get to happiness is they don't want to be involved. They just want to be externally happy about this. Well, if there's issues that cause you pain, be part of a solution. What if this, Ali? What if we all woke up today and we're like, you know what? This causes me pain. I want to put together my thoughts and my community to help solve this. That work would bring happiness. It would bring fulfillment. But again, I think a lot of times that W word scares people away, work. Because I want it, but golly, man, I love my comforts. I would love to help the kids in Africa, but they don't have air conditioning, dirt floors. I'll leave that to Courtney to go over there and do that. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many things. Like, a lot of people know what they want to do. They just don't want to do the work necessary for it.
Right.
And like you, like, why do you do, you know what I mean? Like, you post videos every morning with gratitude. Every morning. That's a habit. But what does that habit bring you?
Happiness.
And what does it bring to the people that are like, oh, I can't wait to see all these crazy ass morning video? Then they get happy. Right? Like the more we build our community, the more we share our happiness, we empower others to become happy. I think about the exact. Let's go back to your Biden example. Why do people share so much memes about Biden right now? Because they're angry about him. So then they share it. And then what happens? We get this whole angry train running away. And what is everybody angry for? Nothing they can control. Right? And everybody's like, oh, you could vote. Yeah, that's 4 years from now. In the meantime, you're going to spend all your personal capital sending out angry memes? Or you can get involved. How can I get involved? Figure out something that makes you feel good. Right? You choose to send out gratitude, which makes people feel good. Billy over here chooses to send out dumbass memes all day long. Makes people feel bad. At the end of the day, that's what you get. That's where your work went.
Yeah, I think we can create more happiness by realizing we all have an impact. Every action we take has a ripple effect out in the world. So why not try and make the world a better place, a happier place? You know, I think like so many of us want to get involved directly with whatever the news decide is the biggest problem. Right now, the biggest problem is Afghanistan, says the news. Right, a few months ago, the biggest problem was Palestinians. Right, the biggest problem was Asian lives. The biggest problem was Black lives. The truth is, there's always horrific acts in the world that are not very happy. There's always things every single day going on that are the complete opposite of happiness, that are dark, that are tragic. And one way that we can continue to push the agenda for more happiness and less suffering in the world, more happiness and less suffering is what every one of us wants as a human being. That is initially what we want our life to be, is increase of happiness and decrease of suffering. We can work on ourselves and our immediate community. We can do the things for us first, because if we're not happy, how the fuck are we supposed to help anyone else be happy? We can't help others until we fully help ourselves, and we are powerful happiness warriors that can produce happiness within ourselves and then give it out to the world. When in reality, so many of us try and help others more than we even help ourselves, and that's backwards. We're actually, if we're not strong in our own happiness, then we have no business really trying to make others happy. You got to take care of you first.
Yeah.
Then once you got you taken care of, that's when you can go out and be multiplying happiness in the world. So my thing is, I feel that stuff in the news, right? And that's their job. They're selling these emotionally charged images and stories and videos. And yeah, they get me sometimes, but I always go back to, okay, what can I do here? What can I do now? And I challenge you to think about that. The entire community, think about what can you do now? Everything you do has a ripple effect. You know, asking your neighbor to come over for dinner, asking your clerk what the best part of their day was, practicing your gratitude, asking people what they were grateful for, smiling at people, simply just saying good morning to people. That has a ripple effect. So once you're taking care of all those things and you're consistently doing that work and consistently creating happiness and love and joy in your life and in your community, then that's when you can be like, all right, shit, I'm killing it here. What can I go over and do in Afghanistan? What can I go over and do in Africa? What can I go over and do in Detroit, in the inner city of my hometown? All these things. But first, take care of your immediate surroundings and do the work there.
Yeah. Yep. It starts with you. You can't, and yeah, that's good, man. Yeah, I agree. Too many people want happiness to be external. It's internal. It's internal first before you go external.
So that brings us to our next key, right? That happiness, another key to happiness is knowing that it's not in things.
Yeah.
What do you think about that, Key, Jerrod?
I think that is what it is, right? Like you see all these Hollywood celebrities that have all the money and mansions and stuff in the world, and they're still miserable. Then flip it over, like Courtney's episode. You know, she talks about the kids in Africa and how joyful they were and happy they were to see her and playful. And they don't have much of anything compared to us, but they don't know they're not supposed to be happy. Right? They're not waking up every morning going, oh, if I just get that BMW, I'll be so happy. Instead, they're like, oh, I'm going to go play in the sun and play with my friends and bounce around. Like, that makes me happy, right? We, in the Western world, particularly the U.S., man, we put so much happiness into belongings and ownership of stuff and things. And the reality is you can say, and maybe that car does make you happy, then get it. But it also comes with work, right? You got to maintain it, and it's going to break down, whatever the case may be. Like, to me, your true happiness comes in whatever, like, fulfills you for the day and fulfills you and keeps you going. And I know that at times I've put my happiness in things. Like, if I buy this bigger house, man, my kids will have so much more room. It'll be way happier. Then I was like, damn, look at this mortgage. I got to mow that big ass yard, and damn, the fence blew down. I was like, I'm not any happier here. But I was happier when I had a smaller house and more money so I could take my kids on more trips. You know, and that's going to be different for everybody. And I'm not saying don't acquire stuff. Like, I've been through that stage in my life. But what I am saying is don't put your happiness 100% on the amount of things you're going to obtain. Because there's always a new thing you may want. There's always another thing. So if that's your goal, you're never going to be happy.
Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I would say that things can provide happiness, right? But it's very temporary, and it wears off very quickly to where, like, I remember, it's funny you say BMW, because I remember I wanted a very specific 7 Series BMW when I was in college. Ooh, it was so nice. I had driven one that my dad had a few times. I'm like, man, this is my favorite car. It's a big body car, but it's fast. It's nice. And I wanted to do anything that I could to get that car. And when I finally got it, I was happy as hell, right? I was like, man, I blamed her Bella Beam, black on black. My dream car, everything I ever wanted. And it did provide happiness to me for a limited amount of time. But after some time, you kind of get back to that baseline level, and you realize that there's no material thing that can sustain happiness. It does take consistent work. And when you can actually fall in love and really enjoy the process and the work that comes with being happy, that's when you're going to be happy all the time. You know, and I remember when you said, like, yeah, like, you asked me, like, how is it always rainbows and gumballs for you? Which I really appreciate, because it's not always, but I think a big part of why I do feel happy for the big majority of my life is because I've been able to really enjoy my process of attaining happiness. Like, even when I'm going through some shit, I can find ways to laugh about it and enjoy it and be like, pressure makes diamonds, baby. I know that this stressful ass pressure right now that I'm experiencing. Like, I know that on the other side, something great is coming from it. That pronoia. You know, there's a whole episode we talked about a pronoia of looking at life like the world is conspiring for you, not against you. And that's a big part of the happiness as well. So for our listeners, don't put your happiness behind the actual achievement, but in the process to get there. And then you're going to enjoy the process. And of course, once you get to the achievement, that's going to give you some happiness as well.
Yeah, 100% right. That's enjoy the journey, not just the destinations mindset. And I'll tell you, like, when I was younger, I was super guilty of just wanting to get to where the happiness is going to be. I want to get to this place. And I didn't necessarily slow down and enjoy the process or the journey. And quite honestly, that's where all the memories are made, right? That's where the relationships are. That's where the fights, like, let's just use fighting, for example. A fight's a short period. At most, it's 9 minutes as an amateur. But you train 8 hard weeks every day, multiple hours a day. That's the stories you tell, right? You remember training with so-and-so. You remember somebody doing something dumb. You remember going to the swim practices on Sunday, knowing none of you guys could swim, so you'd end up just running in the pool instead of swimming, right? Like, you remember, like, that's the joy. And I think when we put our ideas that, oh, I'll be happy when I get to this mark, this promotion, or this vehicle, or this vacation, we miss the joy that got us there, right?
Yep.
And sometimes that is the struggle. When you can find fun and joy in the struggle, happiness is right there for you.
Yeah. And if you're listening to this and thinking like, nah, fuck that, I need to hit my goal and that's when I'm going to be happy, let me just tell you this. What's that?
Just watch. We've been there.
Yeah, just watch. And then 2, if you can be happy now, you're going to hit your goal faster.
Yeah, that's a good point.
If you can be happy along the journey, getting to that goal is going to be quicker. Because in my experience, when I have been like, just got to get it. I just talked about my battle with Adderall addiction, of just like being prescribed Adderall, having, when I was taking that, I was so just focused on the goal, and that drug made it a lot harder for me to be present and happy in the moment. So I was just like, work, try to get on that. And it took a while before I really became aware of like, this makes me so focused on the goal and not being happy and present in the moment. And once I was able to get off and switch that up, I saw that things were coming to me more easily and with less effort, with less like stress and hard work. So be happy in the moment, and then you're going to get to that goal more quickly.
Yeah, I love it. And that made me think, right? Like, if you're not happy doing it, like, say you're training for a fight and you're miserable doing it. You hate going to the gym. You don't want to be there. You don't want to diet. You ain't going to be happy on fight night. Like, you just practice being unhappy for 8 weeks, right? So I got a job. I don't like my job. I don't like my coworkers. I hate going to work. But boy, there's a promotion in 3 months. And as soon as I get that, I'm going to be happy. You're lying to yourself. You ain't going to be happy. You're gonna be a promoted unhappy person, right? So practice being happy every day. And happy doesn't mean an absence of struggle or adversity. Happy means, man, I get to learn something from this obstacle. I'm gonna grow from whatever went wrong today. It's pretty unrealistic when you put it that way, huh? That I'm going to be miserable all day, but boy, as soon as I buy that car, I'm going to be happy as hell. No, you ain't.
Oh.
Because you can't drive that thing 24/7 and live in it. Well, you could, I guess, but.
That definitely won't make you happy.
Yeah, and I think the last one, wrapping this up, Ollie, is happiness boils down to one word. Jocko says it really good. Freedom is discipline. And I like to take it further. I think happiness is discipline. Right? Mm-hmm. Happiness is doing the things you know you're supposed to do.
Yep.
And then enjoying them, choosing to enjoy them. And how do I enjoy them? When I'm doing what I'm supposed to do.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
So one of the biggest, we'll go ahead real quick, one of the biggest tips to happiness, like we talked about this in our last workshop, right? Like, I swear like half the class was like, well, one of my goals is to get up the first time the alarm goes off and not hit snooze 5 times. Well, to you and I, that seems like, okay, that's just a given. Like, I don't even have to worry about that. But for them, that was a big step. So if they get up right when the first alarm goes off, they start their day like happy because they did what they were supposed to do. Now, if you hit snooze 5 times and you told yourself before you went to bed you're getting up right on time, now you're starting the day off making excuses for yourself. And happiness will never be found in the excuses.
Yeah.
Discipline. Do the shit you're supposed to do.
Yeah, it's actually opposite. Kind of find some sadness in making excuses. It makes you start to feel bad about it, and then your whole day's shitty. So, yeah, I agree. Tony Robbins says that happiness is progress. How do you progress? Be disciplined, right? It's all intertwined. So when you are making progress in your life, whether it's in business, whether it's your relationships, whether it's the new instrument you're trying to play, the new language that you're learning, the new skill that you're learning, your workouts, that progress brings you happiness. You feel good about it. Think about when you have conversations with friends or family and you're telling them about you want to share your progress because it makes you happy to share your progress. And the more disciplined you can be, the more progress you will have, equaling more happiness, less suffering.
Yep, for sure, man. Well, we're cutting this one short for our community out there. We intentionally wanted to make this one a little shorter so that you guys have 10 additional minutes you usually give to us to go out and write down what it is that makes you happy. What activities make you happy? And put together a plan to start that right away.
Yep. And for our community, just to recap the 5 keys that we have for you guys on finding happiness in your life. Make it your choice. Make it your job, not anyone else's. Make sure it's not just coming from a thing. It's not in a thing. Happiness takes work, and happiness takes discipline.
Amen. All right, so get out there, write down what it is that makes you happy, and put together a schedule of how you're going to do those things frequently to become habits, right? Because just like anything else, sadness, just being unhappy, being miserable is based on habits, so we can counteract that, right? We can program ourselves to see the world better, to see our lives better, to enjoy what we're given. Because like I said in the episode, if the big fella calls you and says, all right, you got 12 hours and your time's done, what will you do in those 12 hours? And if whatever that is that makes you happy, that's the shit you should be doing. Right? We did an exercise with my kids, and I think we did it maybe in a workshop. If you knew you only had so much time left to live, what would you be doing? Then that's the stuff you should be doing.
A to the man.
So, all right, get out, community, go make yourself happy. And then once you start feeling that happiness, you better share it with the world.
And remember, team, life is far too short to live any other way than on purpose. We will see you all again next week.